Greetings to all my detectives out there. So we changed a little bit the words, so we are going to make it a little different. So now we're going to say greetings to all my detectives out there. My name is Amanda. This is considered Justice Canada. Anyway, if you've been following our channels, we've been talking about missing people, cold cases, homicide, and all that stuff. So if you've been following, this is what our topics are. If you're new to our channel, this is what we talk about. It's just missing people, cold cases, and homicide. And if you're new to our channel, these are the missing people all over. This one's cold cases, that one's homicide, this one's missing. So if you're new to our channel, these are what cases we did earlier. And if you see that on our videos, these are the cases we did. So today we are going to be speaking about homicide, actually, because it's already dealt with. So there's two cases we're going to be doing, but we have some great news today. The great news is, remember this lady I was talking about? Her name was Laura Fader. Well, guess what? Thank you for the channel. Thank you for putting the words out there. Because guess what? We found her. The missing woman has been located since August 13. Thank you guys for putting out the word and getting this woman safely home. And apparently, all it says is when you're missing somebody, they don't ever give us much information. But all it says is Laura Fader has been located in good health. And Grace Harbor Police said August 21st. The public is thanked for their assistance. So thank you guys. Thank you for putting the words out there and bringing somebody home safely in good health. Very appreciated. And I'm very proud of you guys, my detectives. You guys are very smart. So today is going to be a little of a very sad case I'm going to be talking about. It's going to be gruesome. It's gonna be heart-wrenching, and what I was reading, it really broke my heart of what happened to this girl, and we need to put light out there. They've been caught, the killers has been caught, so don't worry, that's what I'm saying, it's a homicide, it's not a cold case, because the killer's been caught. Sadly, we're gonna be talking about a girl named Whitney. Okay, it's a very hard name. But her name is Whitney Van Der Wooden. Her nickname was Dolly. Everybody called her Dolly, so I'll just say Dolly. If you hear me saying Dolly, her real name is Whitney Van Der Wooden. This young lady got murdered. And I'll explain to you, but I just had to tell you guys this. Her birthday was June 12th, okay? So I'll just remember that thing I was telling you. June 12th, her birthday was. So she was only 15 years old when she passed away. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of her story. So just bear with me because this is going to be a harsh thing to talk about. But I'm going to show you one I'm talking about is... there we go. The computer's kind of slow, guys. Sorry. So, okay. So these guys are the murder of Whitney Van Der Wooden. Her name was Dolly. I'll just go by that because it's a very hard name to say. But these are the killers. So just remember that. Now put back her picture up because I want you to remember who I'm talking about, because I don't want you guys to remember the killer. I'll show you again after I'm done talking about them. But we are going to be speaking about her story of what happened to this beautiful girl. Oh, sorry guys, it's a little blurry. I'm going to put the better one. There you go. So, my computer is going to die. So just bear with me. Okay, there you go. There's just my plug. Okay, so this young lady, the way she died was horrific. So just wait till you hear the story. It's heart-wrenching. I can't believe the family had to go to court and hear this kind of stuff. If I would have heard that about my daughter or my son, I really don't know what I would have done. And I'm sorry, guys, if I start crying, it's because, you know what, I really feel for this woman. And I feel so bad for what she went through. So, a young man, those two young men that you see, a young man who stabbed his Subway girlfriend to death in 2009. Okay, guys, just get ready for this, okay? Might not be for kids. I'm just letting you guys know this. This is for adults to hear this. This is going to be heart-wrenching. It's going to be scary. So do not show this to kids. But, okay, so the young man who stabbed his Subway girlfriend to death in 2009 then cut her up and burned her body. Will serve the remaining 3 years of sentence in his native Germany. So this guy comes from Germany. Okay, the guy she was dating his name was Gregory Hepp. Was 17 years old when he and his friend Christopher Lavallee, then 28. What would a 28 do with a 17-year-old? Like, I don't get that. She was 15, he was 17. What was he doing there? That's kind of fishy and it's kind of bizarre, like, you know? Okay, so anyways, I'll just get on. Christopher Lavallee, then 28, murder 15-year-old Whitney Dolly. Brenda Wooden at the campsite in the woods south of Bancroft Drive in Minnow Lake. Her body was dismembered and burned, and her remains buried in a shallow grave. So Gregory Hepp was convicted by summary jury in March 2012 and sentenced as an adult by Justice Superior Court Justice Robbie Gordon to the maximum penalty, 7 years with no chance of parole. Now the victim family tells CTV News in summary they have been told that Gregory Hepp, because they only said Hepp, so I want to say his real name so you don't get confused of who's Hepp and everything, all these nicknames they have. So Hepp will be allowed to go back to Germany to serve out his sentence under a deal struck by the Canadian and German government. How is it fair? He murdered somebody in Canadian grounds, so how's it fair that he could go somewhere else? I'm sorry, but that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't seem fair. And it's just like, I don't know. Rose Thorne, Whitney's mom, told the TV station that she was kind of glad Gregory Hepp was being flown to Germany. It's one less criminal in the criminal justice, in which I agree with her. At least, you know what? He's gone back to his country, and I hope he can't come back to Canadian grounds. And it will be a good thing. Oh, my cameraman's telling me he won't be allowed, so that will be a good thing. Yeah, so, okay. My cameraman just told me that. Okay. Flown to Germany. It's one less criminal in the criminal justice system here in Canada. One less person to pay for, she said. Gregory Hepp and co-accused Lavallee were charged with second-degree murder and causing indignity to human remains. They were tried separately because Gregory Hepp was younger than 18 at the time of the killing. In May 2012, Lavallee, then 31, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. He received a life sentence with no parole, eligibility for 18 years, which is good. Thank God he do that. Thank goodness. Gregory Hepp, who was born in Germany, said early he wanted to return to live there with his mother, a corporate commercial lawyer. How is that fair? So he got away because of his mom? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. His father lives in Canada, so that's how he was able to come to Canada. But now you know what? Not to be mean. Now he can't see his father because he kind of screwed it up. Like, at that that moment, he should be thinking about the family. He should be thinking about Whitney. He should be thinking about Whitney's parents, family. What was he thinking then? And you know what? Now he can't come back to Canada. What was he thinking? Now he can't see his family. Like, there's a lot of jeopardy he should have thought about. He appeals and sentenced it as an adult, but lost. Well, that's good. In his appeal, Gregory Hepp was described as a model prison who had worked to improve himself. Okay. Well, I guess in prison they changed. Maybe he's seen the light of day. Maybe somebody said, hey, that was not very smart what you did. Maybe. Gregory Hepp in level 8 turned himself into police into Quebec. So they ran away and they got caught in Quebec, and apparently they turned himself in finally. So that's a good thing they turned himself in. Sorry, what? Oh, they didn't get caught. Yeah, sorry. I want to reword that. Sorry. They didn't get caught. They just got, like, they went and turned themselves in. So in early June 2009, after a Canada-wide warrant, well, no wonder, because they probably were afraid to get out of town and everything, because you can't go anywhere because of the Canada-wide warrant. The pair had stayed in Prior. I don't know what that word is. Here, guys, I'll just show it to you, because it's kind of like, a hard word. Here, just show it to them, just so you guys can read it too, because it's a really hard word. The pair has stayed in Prior for about a month and then moved on to Quebec, so they moved after. Lavallée, however, had told a friend about what had happened in Greater Sudbury, which led to police targeting the pair. Well, thank you so much for the person that came out and told. I know it might have been scary, but thank you for saying and helping Dolly have proper finish and knowing where her body was and everything. Thank you for the bottom of our heart for doing that. I know it's scary, but you did the right thing. I give you thumbs up. You're a good detective out there, and I'm proud of you. So, okay, which led to the Vander Wooden disappearance. Good. Dolly's father, Paul Vander Wooden, told the court in his victim impact statement when Lavallée was sentenced that he thinks of his late daughter every day. I imagine things that should have been a grandson, a granddaughter, a son-in-law. Like he was hoping his daughter would get married, have babies, have grandkids. Can you just imagine having that ripped right underneath your feet? When your daughter's just 15 years old, you can't walk her down the aisle. You can't see her growing up as a woman, having kids. Oh my goodness. Dancing with my daughter at her wedding. He said, I'm not judged, but when these accused person leaves this earth, they will face up to the ultimate justice. Good for you. That's a good word. They will have justice again in heaven or hell, whichever one it is. Our Father in heaven. In the agreed statement of facts read in court, it was noted that Dolly was having consensual sex with Gregory Hepp in the tent at the campsite when Lavallée attempted to join in. Can you? He's 28 years old. What would he want to do with a 15-year-old? Like, seriously? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. And Dolly, Whitney, resisted, got upset, and threatened to go to the police. Which, good girl for that. At least she stood up for herself. To go to police. Lavallée then grabbed Dolly by the neck while Gregory Hepp stabbed her to death. Why would her boyfriend not stand up for her? Like, seriously, his friend's trying to rape her, and he just stands there and just goes and after his girlfriend instead, like punishing her for saying no. Oh my goodness. The pair then used an oscillariant for a liter of methyl hydrate, to which to which had been given to them by a friend's father to burn Dolly's body. They used a methyl hydrate which had been given to them by a friend's father? And they used it for... Oh my goodness, what's wrong? 6 hours later, they attempted to destroy what was left and they buried it. The tent was also burned, as was clothing the two were wearing that night. After leaving the city and relocating in armed prior, the pair was at the campfire when Gregory Hepp started rapping about burning bodies in flesh. Lively told a startled friend that was Gregory Hepp was rapping about was true, that they had met a 17-year-old runaway. That friend later alerted Grey Suburb Police. When Lively was being escorted back to the Grey Suburb Police by Ontario Provincial Police in June 2009, after he and Gregory Hepp surrounded themselves in Quebec, he did not know that he was talking to an undercover police officer. Wow. Good. God was on her side. I'm happy there was undercover that caught him for what he said. Good. Justice came back. Okay. And in the tape conversation, Lively talked about Dolly, Whitney, murder, and said, we stood over her for an hour. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Lively said it took almost 6 hours for Dolly's body to burn. How can you just stand there and watch somebody burn? Oh my goodness. The fire pit was then moved 6 feet away, a key piece of information that allowed police to investigate at the crime scene to locate more evidence. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I read a little bit more about her case, which I found it was heart-wrenching. Like I said, like it's not something you want to hear. It's not something you want to hear and see. And I just don't understand what their thinking was. And after that, apparently the killers went to lawyers seeks breaking for killer Sudbury girl. So one of Canada's top criminal lawyers said it's hard to think of a 17-year-old who has done a better job of turning his life around in prison. Then his client, that's why he deserves to win the appeal of his adult sentence for second-degree murder. An appeal filed by Brian Greenspan on behalf of Gregory Hepp, convicted in July 2012 of helping to kill and dismember his 15-year-old girlfriend, Whitney Dolly Vander, when it was heard Tuesday in Toronto by the Court of Appeal of Ontario. Gregory Hepp was sentenced as an adult in July 2011 in Sudbury by Justice Robbie Gordon to the maximum penalty, 7 years with no chance of parole. That was good. Good job. But now he's trying to appeal it. Why? Okay, with no chance of parole from the time of his arrest for 2009 murder. Whitney was murdered in April at a campsite in the woods south of Bancroft Drive in Middle Lake. Her body was dismembered and burned and her remains buried in a shallow. Hepp, the Gregory Hepp and co-accused Christopher Lively, then 28, been charged with second degrees and causing indignity. Greenspan said Thursday he at first appealed his client's conviction in his adult sentence but dropped the former appeal. But he and his client have maintained Gordon had no reason to convert Gregory Hepp's sentence to an adult one. While he made an adult decision to kill his girlfriend, he made the decision to do what the 28 said and let his girlfriend die instead of standing up for her and be a real man and say, no, you don't touch my woman. No, you don't do this to my woman. He did that decision as a man, as an adult. So, accountability and moral compatibility, the extent of his involvement in the crime, the fact he had no criminal record at the time. Whitney was murdered, he was just days old and 17. He was very much influenced by the older Lavallee. Well, it takes two to tangle. That's what I always heard. And you know what? You can't blame the older one if they're both to it. Basically. He also demonstrated his 2 years in custody before March 2011 trial. He was somebody who could turn his life around and was truly a young person who had positive prospect for rehabilitation and the fact he has a supportive family. Reese Spence said Gregory Hepp was sentenced to maximum auto sentence that can be imposed on juvenile. 7 years without parole and has served 5 years of that, making him eligible for release in 2016. If he is, he would remain under supervision or parole for the rest of his life. Well, still, I don't want to be mean, but even if he's out, what if he does that to somebody else, even if he's on parole for life? What happens if he hurts another young girl? Or what happens if he does what his friend did? Let another friend take advantage of another person. Please, guys, don't do this to anybody else. Let him be in jail where it's safe for the community. This girl had to die. This girl had to die without no reason. She should have been here right now. She should have had kids. She should have had marriage, everything in the future. But they took her rights away. Forever. And you know what? They should take their rights forever. It should be fair. They took her life, they should take their life. I don't mean, but Canadian, come on. If his sentence is converted to the youth sentence of second degree for second degree murder is 4 years. Only 4 years? He dismembered her. He burnt her. He let his friend try raping her. And you're just gonna give her 4 years? Like, oh, it's okay what you're doing. Go do it to another person. We don't care about the other person. No, this is not justice. Not justice at all. 4 years before parole eligibility, plus 3 years of supervised release. That's it? Oh my goodness. The clock starts ticking on those 4 years upon conviction July 2011, which would make Gregory Hepp eligible for parole in the summer of 2015. What that means, Gregory Hepp would serve 1 less year in custody, but more importantly would serve only 3 years of parole. Gregory Hepp was born in Germany and wants to return to live there with his mother. Which, okay, that's fine. So, you know what? If they want to give him the less sentence, go ahead. But, what happened if it repeats in Germany again? I don't want to be mean, guys, but you guys gotta think about this. Like, have a treaty that could allow Gregory Hepp be transferred there to live, but would be difficult. Greenspan said only 2 people on supervision have transferred from Canada to Germany since 1978. The German government makes those decisions, not the courts. After serving 3 years parole, if his adult sentence is converted, Gregory Hepp would be free to leave Canada on his own steam without asking anybody in the summer of 2018. Under both sentences, adult or youth, his client would only be eligible for parole. It wouldn't be a certainty. But Greenspan said it's hard to think of a 17-year-old who's done better in custody than this guy. Gregory Hepp has finished his high school, earned university credits. So, it doesn't matter what he did. What he did in the past is not right. And I'm not agreeing on this one. Sorry guys, but I'm not very agreeing on this one. So I will show you the killer one more time. They want to spend their life. They want to spare his life. But what about Whitney? What about Dolly? So I believe Lavalley is right here. I don't remember his name there. Gregory, I believe that's Gregory. And I think this is Lavalley. Because this looks like the older guy. I forgot his name, Lavalley. Oh yeah, it's I just said it, I don't remember now. But anyways, they want to spare his life? Their life? I don't know what I mean, but what about Whitney and Dolly? And I just can't believe this. I really cannot believe the system. I just wish that we knew. And I thought another thing is just, I'm going to just tell you guys what they say here because it's two different stories. So I'll just explain to you guys what I mean. So this part you guys know about Whitney Vanderwooden, known as Dolly, went missing on April 27, 2009. So the police, acting on a tip, found her remains at a makeshift campsite in the bush south of Bancroft Drive and east of Moonlight Avenue on June 2nd. And her birthday, like I said, June 12th. Okay? So she died April 27th and they found her remains June 2nd. So that's 3 months before her birthday. She would have been 16. And she had to die before her birthday, before she turned sweet 16. Her parents probably was making a surprise and everything, getting everything ready for 3 months. And then she dies. Okay. The next day, a Canada-wide warrant was issued for the youth and Crystal Lovely, who was 28 at the time of Whitney's death. The two men turned themselves in, which is 500 kilometers north of Gatineau. That's where they were, Gatineau. So I just want to let you guys know. So they were both tried with first-degree murder. Lovely case is still making its way through the court system. The youth trial is expected to last about 2 weeks with a possibility of about 29 witnesses being called. So that's good. Let's hope they speak. The youth is being represented by defense lawyer William Beach and John Shaftik. The Crown represented by Assistant Crown Attorney Philip Zilberberg. During memorial service for Whitney in June 2009, she was remembered as a rebellious teen with a big heart. Rebellious doesn't mean she could be a mean person. It just means, like, you know what, she just wanted to be herself. And I don't want nobody judging her just because they say rebellious. Because you know what, it could just mean, like, you know what, she just liked to be free. And a teenager, you know, it's a teenage life. You know, I bet you anything, me, you, everybody, we've been through that phase. Rebellious, you don't want to listen to your parents. You just want to be, like, you know, free. You think you're 15, you could be whatever. You think, no, you're not untouchable, which you are. And I just want to put the kids there. Please, listen to your parents. If they say it's not safe, if they tell you to come back home, listen to them. Because rebellious, it's nice, but be rebellious in a proper way. Just think about that. About Whitney, what she went through. Just think about that. So she was remembered with a big heart. Sounds like a sweet girl to me. And those guys took advantage of a sweetheart. You know what? Most people do. Sad. In her short life, she lived, oh my goodness, she lived a lot of places. Listen to this. She lived in Aurora. That probably is by Toronto, eh? Toronto, yeah, okay. Brantford, Kapuskasing, and Sudbury. She's been to places. That's awesome to hear that. Wow. She also spent a lot of time in Sault Ste. Marie. She had two older sisters, Hillary and Tiffany, and a younger brother, Quincy. The last time her family spoke to Whitney was the day she disappeared. She called her mother from downtown Sudbury at about 8 p.m. on April 27, 2009 to ask if she could go to her friend's house. Her mother told her to come home, but she never did. Rebellious. She thought she could do it and she thought she'll be okay. But please listen to your parents. If they say that, it's because they know there's going to be something happening. They know by their heart. They have a gut feeling of something's going to happen to their little girl, little boys. Please listen to your parents. And I bet you think Whitney's probably telling that down from heaven too. Please listen to your parents. Don't do what I did. Be rebellious, but don't be rebellious that way. Okay. Her family reported her missing to the police the following day. The family searched Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, and Kapuskasing for her, posting flyers, speaking to the media. They received the devastating news that the police thought they had found her remains on June 2nd, 2009. It took a few weeks for the police to announce the Northern Regional Forensic Laboratory in Sault Ste. Marie had confirmed the remains were those of Whitney. Both the accused had been in custody since their arrest in 2009. Okay, so this is where it kind of shifts the story. So the grisly tale recounted March 17, 2011. Whitney, 15, was choked and stabbed before her body was burned in the woods south of Bancroft Drive because she resisted sexual advances by one of her alleged murderers. And we know who that is. Christopher Levely. A jury in Superior Court in Sudbury heard on Wednesday. They were worried about getting caught because she was a runaway. Why? Why use that? And she was a big-hearted too, so they used two things on her. Her good heart, and they used her runaway thing. Just because she ran away, oh, let's just do it because nobody cares about her. Yes, there's people looking for her. Yes, people are still looking for their runaway kids because they love them. They will never give up on their kids, no matter if they're runaway or not. Like, come on, guys. Why use that against her? She was rebellious. It's not because she wants to run away from her family because she didn't love them. She wanted to be on her own terms. And no one would look for her, Neil McLaren said during his testimony on Wednesday. McLaren told the jury one of Whitney's Dolly's accused killer told him the detail of the murder, while the other accused killer listened. A male youth and Christopher Levely have been charged with Dolly Whitney murder. The youth, who was at 17 at the time of Dolly's death, is on trial at the Sudbury courthouse this week. He has pled not guilty to first-degree murder and causing indignity to a human body. How can you not plead that guilty? Like, Levely was 28 when Dolly died. We'll have a trial later this year. Levely and the youth showed up at McLaren House in armed prayer in the days following Dolly's disappearance on April 27, 2009. And that's another thing too. If they were really mad, they would have went to the police right away and say, hey, listen, we did something bad. We killed Whitney. This is where she is. Instead of running away and trying to take off. It won't ever work because the warrants are out there looking for you guys. I had asked him a couple occasions to come down and put his voice on my music, McLaren said, adding Levely had blown him off a number of times. Then one day in late April or early May 2009, Levely called and said he was coming to armed prayer. McLaren said the court heard the three men were drinking and doing drugs. How can you be partying, drinking